This couple left their baby girl in a plastic bag. Oh, hi there, stranger. Today I'm going to be telling you about the case of Constance Martin and Mark Gordon. Viewer discretion, as always, is advised. Extra trigger warning, this case involves the passing of a baby in very distressing circumstances. Born in 1974, Mark Gordon moved to the US with his mother at the age of 12. At just 14 years of age, he was arrested after he broke into his neighbour's house through her bathroom window, held her against her will for over 4 hours, and raped her at knife point. He had also been armed with secateurs. That same month, he committed an aggravated burglary. He was sentenced to 40 years in prison for those crimes and served 22. He was deported back to the UK in 2010. Constance Martin, in contrast, was born into privilege and wealth. Her paternal grandmother was friends with the Queen. When she was 9 years old, her father abandoned the family, and she followed suit in 2012 when she cut ties. With the people, not the money. She had her life paid for by the trust that oversaw her grandmother's will or estate or something like that. She met Gordon in London in 2014, and in 2016 they had a marriage ceremony in Peru that is not recognised under UK law. They went on to have 4 children, all of whom were removed from their care by social services and later adopted. To give you a brief idea of their mind state and ideology, during her first pregnancy, Martin did not go for medical help. I know some people like to do things the unconventional way, and far be it for me to judge. But not only did she not go for any antenatal care, the pair were living in a van in the Welsh forest and had no preparations for the baby. They literally had some baby grows and a few nappies. And the only reason authorities even knew about that was because at around 6 months pregnant, Martin did go into a hospital. I don't know what for. But then when they were unable to locate her afterwards, a nationwide alert was put out about the couple. So then later down the line, closer to when the baby was due, the couple turn up to this Welsh hospital posing as Irish travellers, and she gave a fake name and used a fake Irish accent. She told them she'd never been to school or to the doctors or dentist, that she didn't even have an NHS number. But their story was iffy and clearly not passable, and a nurse remembered that there was a nationwide alert about this couple. She looked into it, and sure enough, it turned out to be them. And that was in 2017, so the services offered them help. This was, after all, their first baby, and then they ended up being discharged and moved back to London. They would keep having babies and trying to keep the authorities out for the next few years. Their 4th baby was born in Lewisham Hospital in South London in 2021, and Martin left much of the care to the nurses. She was told that it was not their duty and that she needed to care for her baby. Then Martin and Gordon wanted to leave the hospital, and they were told that their baby was not ready to leave, and so they left without their child. And they were forewarned that that would be considered child abandonment. They described themselves as naturalists and said they didn't want any medical intervention for their child. In January 2022, all 4 children were placed into foster care. And thank the heavens for that, because within just 1 year, their 5th child would be dead at their hands. Martin became pregnant again, and this time they were determined to do it their own way. In order to keep their baby, they would conceal the pregnancy, birth, and baby from the authorities. They went on the run, leaving a trail of evidence behind. First, they took a holiday cottage on the 20th of December 2022 and stayed there until around the 26th. The owners would find it in a, quote, disgusting state on the 28th. They spend the next week or so moving around by taxi after their car breaks down. During all of these movements, no baby is seen or heard. Then on the 5th of January 2023, a Peugeot 206 that the couple had been driving caught fire on the motorway near Manchester. The couple leave the area, and when the car is found, Martin's passport, 30 burner phones, and a decomposing placenta are all found inside the car. Oh, and also a live cat. They left a live cat inside a burning car. A high-risk missing person investigation begins. Of course, the police now knew that there was a baby. Meanwhile, the couple were moving all over the country by taxi. Starting in Bolton, they took a cab to Liverpool and then 270 miles in another cab to Essex. They checked into 2 hotels on the 6th of January. The next day, they went to Colchester and then East London. They stopped at a shop there where they bought a buggy and then got a cab to Whitechapel. For reasons I can only assume, they dumped the pram that they'd bought and put their baby, presumably only a couple of days old at this point, in a supermarket bag for life. And she would spend much of the rest of her life in that supermarket bag. On the 8th of January, they got another cab to North London and from there another cab down to New Haven in East Sussex. That last cab cost them nearly £500, but I suppose the trust picked that up. They got to New Haven around 5 a.m. and walked to the South Downs National Park. And from there, they set up in a tent and lived rough. And this really wasn't off-grid living, strangers. They were just living rough. They and their tent were sighted on numerous occasions between January and February. On one of those occasions, Martin was seen holding the baby, who was not wearing socks, a hat, or a blanket. On the 20th of February 2023, Martin and Gordon were seen rummaging through bins for food near a local golf course. They were finally arrested on the 27th of February in Brighton. They did not have their daughter. They both reeked and they both had paper and furniture stuffing inside their clothes for extra warmth. Both of them declined to say anything. Neither of them gave up the location of the baby. The police could do nothing but keep searching, and on the 1st of March 2023, they found the little baby girl still in the bag for life. The bag with her little remains inside had been put inside a shed along with the couple's tent and some food. Once they'd found her baby, Martin started talking. She said she had the baby inside her jacket and she'd fallen asleep. When she woke up, the baby had passed away. The case went to trial in April 2024, and in May of that year, they were both found guilty of concealing the birth of their daughter, perverting the course of justice, and child cruelty. The jury couldn't decide on the other 2 counts, and so a retrial was set. And on the 14th of July 2025, they were both convicted of gross negligence manslaughter. The trial showed the lengths these two went to ensure that no authorities could be involved with them. Martin had spent nearly £48,000 over the course of 4 months just moving around, just trying not to get caught out by the system. The very system that was trying to protect her child. The irony is strong on this one, because 48k and you're sleeping in a tent, starving? Your baby has no socks on, but you have spent £48,000 to make sure nobody knows that she exists? Rummaging in bins and you've got a whole trust fund? I will never understand. And before you talk about her mental health, we ain't doing that. Maybe the first time, maybe even the second time. But you have 4 children removed from your care, repeated warnings and offers of help, and you still go to all those lengths to conceal the 5th baby? In my opinion, not everything can be put down to mental health. Some people are just evil and cruel and do not care. She didn't even tell the police where they could locate her baby's remains. She left her inside a bag for life with rubbish. Both Martin and Gordon were sentenced today, the 15th of September 2025. They each received 14 years in prison, of which they'll serve 2/3. Gordon has an extended 4 years on licence when he's released. And that's it. That's the horrible case of Constance Martin and Mark Gordon, a couple who had a child that spent most of her life in a supermarket shopping bag. Rest in peace to that poor little baby. I hope she's with the angels now. I have no words for this one. I certainly can't say what I think. But please, as always, let me know what your opinions are in the comments. Does the sentence fit the crime? And as always, strangers, if you've stayed with me up until now, then thank you for watching, and I'll see you for the next one.